Everything except the good cholesterol. That's the one thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Just got the list somewhere.
Okay.
We're a couple of minutes away, folks.
Don't anybody go anywhere now.
Oh, I've got to sign up there.
Love
your fur.
You know when he's not wearing shorts, that's very nice.
Okay, let me do this. Seven. Thank you.
John, you're all set where we are? Okay, welcome everyone. So we're delighted tonight to host Nellie Wong and Robert Eugene Rubino. Yeah, this is a great crowd. I'm really looking forward to it, and I have been for some time. Now, Robert has been widely published as a poet and a prose writer, but his real accomplishments are he was born in New York City when the Giants still played in the Polo Grounds, and he remembers vividly the Cuban Missile Crisis. And both those things are true for me as well. So to me, like, wow, now those are credentials. We're not messing around here. You know? So I guess Robert is going to read first, and and then we'll be followed by Nellie. Robert.
Good evening. Thank you for coming out. I want to thank Nellie for inviting me to co-feature with her tonight. It's a great honor. And I want to thank Alice for introducing me to Nellie in the first place a couple of years ago. I'm going to get right to it. 56 years ago today, Martin Luther King Jr. was murdered, and I have a piece about that. Martin in Memphis. Martin wasn't in Memphis to give another spine-tingling speech about visions of a perfect, peaceful world. Martin was in Memphis to give support to that city's gritty, long-suffering, long-striking sanitation workers, two of whom had been crushed to death by rickety equipment the city refused to replace, whose families the city refused to compensate, as if those workers' worth was beneath the trash they trucked, as if that clean city didn't depend on their dirty work, as if their dirty work wasn't hard, honest, hard labor, as if they, and not what they removed out of sight, out of mind, were unclean and malodorous. Martin wasn't in Memphis to give another soaring speech about dreams of idealized, sanitized equality. Martin was in Memphis to give support to the city's gritty, long-suffering, long-striking sanitation workers, demanding safer equipment, overtime pay, a raise from their far below minimum wage starvation pay, recognition of their union, recognition of their humanity. This one is dedicated to a good friend of mine who featured here a while ago, Tony Eldorado. It's one of his favorites, so it's one of mine too. Bootstraps. Next time some self-described, self-made, self-righteous individual asserts they're having pulled themselves up by their bootstraps, without fear nor favor, all by their strong-willed selves, through dint of nothing but their own smarts and sweat-stained work ethic, demand to know, or politely inquire, where did these bootstraps come from? Were they a gift? Inherited? Inherited? Stolen? Did someone else make them and someone else simply sell them to you? If you made the bootstraps yourself, who taught you how to do it? Did you take a bootstrap making class at a community college? Did you view a how-to YouTube video? Who made the video? Did you slaughter an animal to make genuine leather bootstraps? Did you then personally engage in the leather making? Who taught you how to make the leather? Did you dispose of the leather making waste responsibly? Not much point to bootstraps without boots, so where did your boots come from? Remind us again, what exactly have you done solo? Exactly. Home, sick, winter 1958, 10 years old, Queens, New York. 0 degrees outside, while cozy warm inside. Mother opens apartment's bedroom window, reels in creaky clothesline of frozen laundry, closes apartment's bedroom window, and together we fall into fits of giggling at shirts suitably stiff for a mummy movie, at blue jeans able to stand on their own as if being worn by the invisible man. This silliness coming just hours after that seriousness of her wicked witch stalking with a tablespoon in one shaking fist and a jar of syrup of ipecac in the other. Horror sci-fi subtext. 9-year-old boy in 1957 at neighborhood Saturday matinee, seeing The Amazing Colossal Man. Atomic bomb test exposes man to plane loads of radiation. He swells, expands like flesh and blood and bones balloon. Man grows bigger, leaves the biggest footprint. Man outgrows everything, dominates everything, everywhere. Ego-fueled science run amok, big blob of a bad joke. Man too scary, too silly, out of control, out of proportion, destructive, tragic, pathetic, all-consuming, self-destructive. Man, nothing but amazing, colossal, misfit mistake. Superman is dead. Long live Superman. 11 years old, 1959. We're stone silent after cracking wise about the news of George Reeves' suicide, each joke a variation on TV's Superman shooting himself with a kryptonite bullet. We huddle in the cavern of a fallout shelter, each of us holding on dearly, desperately, to the latest Superman comic book, still beguiled by this all-American alien, still keeping secret his transparent dual identity, this hero both mild-mannered and so daring, who kills something in us along with himself, yet still joins us on our fitful flights of fancy. Waiting for Bardot, 1965. We had seen her naked in contempt, a couple of teenage dropouts, our famished eyes feasting on that flicker of Technicolor tease. And now we're waiting for Brigitte Bardot to appear in public like a lust-holy vision to plug her new movie with its 5-minute striptease scene. In a crowd, in the cold, we're waiting for an in-the-flesh peek, for a real-life glimpse, while Uncle Sam's draft awaits us. Jazz memories. Armed with a fake ID at age 17 in 1965, I see Ella Fitzgerald at Basin Street East in New York City. Ella scatting as playful as a girl on a sidewalk, skipping rope with friends. Ella as a world-weary woman singing of love and loss as if it were her life and death. In the spring of '79, at Keystone Corner in San Francisco, the city still reeling from the horror of the Milk and Moscone murders, I see tenor saxophonist, long, tall Dexter Gordon blow sonorous ballads and bluesy bebop. As the only white man in a Cleveland club in '93, after having been shown discreetly, or maybe it was conspicuously, to a table behind a pole seemingly as wide and opaque as the Cuyahoga River, I didn't quite see the trumpet master, jazz messenger, Freddie Hubbard, but I surely and purely hear Freddie Hubbard, which is, after all, the whole point. First ever jazz memory? My father playing his Benny Goodman records and Lionel Hampton's vibes speaking to me, minding my own 10-year-old kid business. But those vibes planting a seed in me. Brotherhood. I love reminiscing about our childhoods with my 2 younger brothers, now in our shared old age. I love how they, each in his own way, paint the past as exclusively loving and carefree. Paint the past with strokes both broad and finely etched, but without conflict, guilt-free, absent of shame, using only primary colors and never leaving a single splatter. Memories of holiday feasts in a 3-room apartment with grandparents and aunts and uncles, platters of lasagna and ravioli, jugs of red table wine mixed with benevolent red-blooded debate and boisterous laughter. Memories of our father's Franciscan gentleness, our mother's United Nations worthy diplomatic skills. Memories of ballparks and barbecues, of midnight mass on Christmas Eve, of sleeping in heavenly peace, of pacifist snowball fights, nobody ever got hurt, and giggling fits among us 3 boys, so fiercely silly, the debris of a milk-dunked, already tasted Oreo would exit through one of our nostrils and reappear, redunked as it were, back in a glass of milk. I share those memories, cherish those memories, although when I paint the past, I tend to employ muted, muddy, messy slate grays and unearthed hues dripping in documentarian dread, leaving splatters on my eyeballs. I love my brothers unconditionally, love them for their kindness, their forgiveness, their forgetfulness. King for a day. The checkers pieces get reset yet again. It's only a friendly game after all, right? Right. as if we ever played any game not wanting to annihilate the other. He calmly assumes an air of dignity while hunched in a wheelchair, his chin looking like it's attached to his plaid shirt's top button, his oversized diaper bulging over coffee-stained red sweatpants, his wrinkle-rutted face splotched with dried blood, result of nursing home aides shave, his breath a labor of longing, watery eyes searching for land, his World War II combat brothers all gone, his wife, Josie, mate for 62 years, dead 3 months now. Family expects him to follow any day. Family will be wrong by 5 years. He makes yet another unruly triple jump, using whatever pieces, moving in whatever directions he damn well pleases, this time adding a flourishing, finishing flick of his wrist and a guttural gargle of a command, "King me." Well, I know a con job when I see it, or at least I think I do. Hell, I really have no idea. I sit and stare, shrug and sigh. No more resetting of pieces. Time and toil crown my father, and his tender tenor rasps and gasps. Give up, wise guy? Wanderers, all of us. We wandered into childhood alone, among so many other children exactly like us, among none like us, wide-eyed, silent, obedient, but not without sneaky streaks of narrow-eyed subversion. We wandered into adolescence alone, among so many other adolescents, none like us, yet none unlike us. All of us so sure of what was what, none of us with even a clue, our script inscrutable, our improvisations prohibited. We wandered into young adulthood alone, among so many other young adults, scared of nothing, nothing so much as scared to death of turning in to our dying parents who had done nothing wrong except be themselves. We wandered into middle age alone, among so many others wending through the workaday world, so cocksure, confident, convinced we were exceptions. We'd never fall victim to that cliche virus called midlife crisis. Oh, how proudly, ashamedly, self-satisfyingly wrong we were. Some of us, anyway. We wandered into retirement's golden, oldie, moldy years, now become supersonic, speedy, cloudy days, alone, among so many others burdened by pending vacancies, virility, vitality, having given notice, these clouds rolling, roiling, presaging end-time storms that will rage and ravage, cleanse and erase. Educated. Your education begins anew with each morning's meditation, astonished by how much you've learned in 76 years, how much more there remains to be learned, astonished by how much you got wrong, astonished by how much you'll never know, how much you'll never know. This is a concluding piece. It's a little different. It's an ode to Kathleen Lawton, who's the host of KCSM's Crazy About the Blues, Fridays, 9 to midnight. It's called Kicking Ass and Taking Nicknames. She's got Peg Leg Sam and Peg Leg Howell, Big Mama Thornton and Little Charlie, Little Walter and Big Walter Horton, Big Bill Morganfield and Big Bill Brunzi, Little Axe and Arthur Big Boy Crudup, David Fathead Newman, She's got Honey Boy Edwards and Sonny Boy Williamson. She's got Blind Lemon, Blind Willie, Blind Boy Fuller, and the Blind Boys of Alabama. You like Southern cooking? She's got Mississippi Fred McDowell, Mississippi John Hurt, Texas Alexander, Louisiana Red, and Memphis Minnie. She'll be smoking and howling too, talking about Smoking Joe Kubek and, of course, the one and only Howlin' Wolf. Feeling lucky? She's got Lucky Peterson. Feeling sunny? She's got Sunny Slim and Sun Pie. Feeling flashy? Take a listen to Lightnin' Hopkins. You hear some yelling? That would be Screamin' Jay Hawkins. Got a sweet tooth? She's got Sugar Blue and Sugar Pie. Something funny? She's got Laughin' Charlie. She ain't done yet. She's got Pine Top and Jelly Roll. That would be, needless to say, gonna say it anyway, Pine Top Perkins and Jelly Roll Morton. You itching for a fight? Well, in this corner, she's got Scrapper Blackwell. And in that corner, Champion Jack Dupree. She's crazy, crazy about the blues. Me too. I'm crazy about the blues. Crazy too about those blues nicknames. They kick ass. Crazy, crazy in a crazy good way. Good, clean, fun. But if you want to get down and dirty, well, okay. She's got Muddy Waters. Thank you so much for listening.
Delightful, absolutely, beginning to end. And our second featured poet is Nellie Wong, and just the thumbnail description, Chinese American revolutionary feminist poet, should tell you all you need to know. You know, among the other, she has a lot of accomplishments. I'm delighted by the title of her most recent book, which is Breakfast, Lunch, Dinner. Yeah, I really like that a lot. And also, she's a recent recipient of the Penn Oakland's Reginald Lockett Lifetime Achievement Award. And I know the people in the what was it, Woodwind, the Woodward, what was the group? Wordwind, thank you. Wordwind Ensemble. I know all those guys, and it's really, it's a wonderful award, and it's quite an achievement. So, it's. I've been looking forward to this for some time, and present Nellie Wong.
Thank you. Help me out. Yeah. Thank you.
Is that the height that's going to work?
Yeah, I see if this is, how's that? Oh, great. Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming here in a rainy weather and some hail and all that kind of stuff besides the other political stuff that's going on. And I want to thank Michael and Eric for having this evening tonight, and gives me a chance to kind of deep back since I'm an old lady now. So here we go. Typewriter back talk, a monologue. So, you want to write a poet, a playwright, a storyteller, a magician. And to write, you think you have to be a sociologist, an environmentalist, a physiologist, an observer of human behavior, and a scholar too. Well, prove it. The least you could do is pay attention to me. How would you like to be covered up like this, not knowing the light of day, not basking in the colors of this universe? Go, traipse around to your meetings night after night, clean your bedroom closet, bake chocolate chip cookies, and snore through creature features. It's cruel, that's what it is. I demand my rights. I should start a society for the prevention of cruelty to machines, and in particular to typewriters. You'd squawk, wouldn't you? You'd bum your congressman, whoops, I mean congressperson, wouldn't you? If a million typewriters clamped on your doorstep staging a type-in, going clack, 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 driving you up the chimney until you poofed? How can you plan a great escape when you bought me, when you adopted me, when you installed me, a permanent fixture in your home? Ah, you're soft. You're strawberry yogurt dripping into a styrofoam cup. Expecting miracles, jackpots at South Shore. Sure, I've met types like you before. A few poems, stories, an attempt at writing a play, then suddenly it's Hollywood and Broadway? Aren't you getting a little confused about being a writer? About the work you must do to write? Well, here I sit, doomed to a life of inertia. Lift my cover, look at the faces I wear, the profiles, the noses, the protruding lips. I could be your grandmother, your lover, your child, your mother. I could be the devil if that's what you want. But no, you believe. You don't believe in the devil, you believe in angels. And you believe that angels disguise themselves as human beings with foibles and weaknesses, human beings with perseverance and strengths. But you want to put wings on people, don't you? You, to put it simply, want a state of perfection, utopia, internal sunshine, and toucans blissfully feasting on fruit from palm trees. Hey, I'm a typewriter, remember? A tool. Of course, writing isn't easy. Of course, there's social problems. It's been that way since day one, and you want to write to help solve social problems, to stop rape and violence against women, to stop cultural genocide of Asian Americans, to stop oppression against blacks in the workplace, against gays on the street, against women who want to have control of their own bodies, their own lives. You are a worrywart. You want to do everything, but you only have so much time and so much energy. And you want some kind of a balance, some sense of what you're doing as part of the people's movements. I can't solve everything for you, my friend. But if you want to write, you must write. Don't hold grudges. Stop the resentment, sedition, erudition, tradition. And you worry about literary tradition when you can't find an early novel by an Asian American woman, when you can't find a copy of it on the Asian community library shelf. So why are you taking it out on me? Help! Free the typewriter one. Don't condemn me to the land of silence because some people don't believe in Asian American culture, in Asian American art and literature, in Asian American sensibilities. Afraid, aren't you? My fine feather friend chirping with the heart of a bird and the mask of a warrior. What's the matter? Can't you face a blank page right here in your own home? Can't you write your own stories without worrying about what others think of you, your words, your ideas, afraid of failing, of being ignored, not being good enough? Type, damn it. I have no legs, no hair on my body, no blood running through my parts. But I offer you something, purpose, life, and art intertwined. Can't continue living like this. I can't survive on my own by myself. I have to be nurtured, encouraged, tested, loved. I can't survive. I need to be oiled, tuned. Yes, I have the power to give you a letter, a word, a sentence, a paragraph, a song. Yeah, and history too. Let's go for broke. But I can't imprint myself, you fool. Sooner or later, you must sit down and confront me. Sooner or later, you'll have to look at me staring you with my golden eyes. Yes, I said eyes. Not one eye, but 1,000 golden eyes, beaming you wherever you stagnate, hibernate, wherever you move, wherever you roam. Sooner or later, you'll have to square with my wide metal body, my carriage, my keys, a camaraderie of soldiers, a suit of armor itself. Sure, you can sing and dance. act, slip in, out of your character's skin, become water and wind, sun and earth and fire, not chasing after ghost illusions, but seeking the truth. Not flopping around on those high-fashioned heels that will kill you, but running with bare feet. You can dance in front of your three-way mirror pose, imitate a ballerina, a flamingo. Use my memory, the backspace, my dreams, the return, my point of view, the shift, my vision, the lock, my anger, the set, my joy, the clear. Now, walk toward me, slowly, easily. No, 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 leave that wiggling to those models beating pots and pans singing, I'm an Anjali woman on TV. Oh, I could tear my wires out. I could chomp up my warranty. I could live out the destiny of a machine and land them in some junk shop. But I'm going to challenge you. Now walk towards me, slowly, gently. Yeah, that's it. Think you've got it. Your posture's not bad when you concentrate, when you hold your head up high. Now sit her down. Yeah, it's your body. The eyes of a hawk, the instinct of a lion, the heart of a dolphin. Now raise your hands, pound out your nightmares and dreams, make love. Oh, my face tingle at the rain of your fingers. The light is beginning to shine through. You and I, what a team. Night after night plotting and scheming, fencing and eating and dancing with words. Two hoofers, tap, tap, tapping along. Yeah, no formula, no ordained destiny for you, my friend. Just hard work, will, and courage. We're partners. Me, perched on your shoulder, light as a tickle in your ear singing. I'm always true to you, darling, in my fashion. I'm always true to you, darling, in my way. Now smile, poker face, spread your wings, and come on home. I think when one gets older, and nobody escapes that, and we were talking about that a little while ago, and this goes back to 1980 when I attended a book party and celebration of Island, Poetry and History of Chinese Immigrants on Angel Island, 1910 to 1940. And it was held at the Chinese Culture Center in San Francisco, July 12, 1980. I am a Christian Scientist, she said. And I like to see the humor of the Chinese and the Japanese. And those communists against Charlie Chan. Why, he was an American with humor, with all his sons. I disagree with you, I said. I know you do, she said. And I'm with the Can Charlie Chan Coalition, I said. Oh, don't be, she said. And we stood there in the gallery surrounded by photographs of Chinese immigrants on Angel Island, visitors walking around us in a well-defined circle of disagreement, my voice rising higher and higher. I have come to the book party to celebrate the struggles of Chinese American pioneers. I have come to the book party to see the exhibits of photographs. I have come to the book party to walk with my people, to hear voices from the past off the walls of barracks on Angel Island, deep from within his heart. I have come to the book party to celebrate with authors and friends. And as I leave this book party, this celebration, I continue to journey with my people to recover and discover the laughter and tears of our long time Galafon lives. And don't forget, you are an American first, she said. Yes, I said, how could I forget? Her eyes pierced mine We were locked mortal enemies in language, ideas, perceptions, beliefs. And as I walked out into the sunshine, mingling with Manongs and visitors alike, my fingers itched to record this one battle among battle, this one memory among memories, this one song among songs being heard, written, and sung throughout Asian America. I've been performing with the Les Hoisan poets with Jenny Lim and Floy Wong, and the Del Sol String Quartet in the Bay Area, and we've done several at Angel Island. So there's seems to be a lot of information now talking about Angel Island and the immigration, not only of Chinese but Mexicans, Japanese, East Indians, all different Russians, different kinds of people. But that goes back to when my mother and my father before, and many, not only of our relatives, but many, many immigrants who came from all over the world, but in particularly the Chinese, and we think about what happened during COVID and how Chinese people were blamed for bringing COVID into our country, of course, which wasn't true. Listening to Bird Monday night. Bird places alto sax, if I should lose you. I'm transported to birdland, my second home. The roar of the bus interferes, but I stay true. And writing this helps me to stay on cue. As drummers beat out my desire, I roam. Bird places alto sax, if I should lose you. My fingers dance, I want to sing the blues. Remember the 40s, the clouds, the foam. The roar of the bus interferes, but I stay true. Chinese kids could jitterbug, swing, be cool. In our bobby socks and bodies, we danced a poem. Bird plays the sax, if I should lose you. Harbor lights the theme, another bloody bones too. Collecting meat bones and hiding them at home. The roar of the bus interferes, but I stay true. We could always smoke, pretend, sneak home. The evening would end a bit of joy for some. Bird places alto sax, if I should lose you. The roar of the bus interferes, but I stay true. A lot of people think that feminism is so yesterday, and that we are still fighting for liberation of all kinds of people, but in particular women. And this poem was written from a painting titled Strange Fruit, Comfort Women in 2001 by the artist Hong Lu. No luck in this equation. 7 women, strange fruit, stare at you. Their eyes awash with tears dripping cast downward onto yellow straw hats, their fingers at rest. But for one, stern without malice, pulls you into paint, a butterfly with purple and white wings, of unheard voices as comfort women unsurreal, their lives forsaken in droughts, the moisture of art in the world war against women, who had no say for their humanity or luck in the numbers 777 for fortune, wealth, prosperity. My sisters, who had no say, rise and speak. Our black hair, our fingers afire, their bodies in white dresses, our bodies still to be our own. Women of the world, and I read this at the Remember Rosie Jimenez National Mobilization for Reproductive Justice Rally and Speak Out that was held here in California, October 3, 2021. Women of the world. Women who plant rice. Women who sew pants, women who weave rugs, women who compose songs, women who launder, who wash and wash, women who clean rooms, women who dig ditches, women who agitate for a living wage, women who give their bodies, women who invent, women who dance, women who work, and all women work, women who sacrifice sleep, women who weld, who paint, who doctor, women who see with their ears, hear with their eyes, women who resist their brains and bodies in united fronts, women who build coalitions, women who organize, strategize, materialize, women who teach, who learn, women who are migrants, refugees, escaping violence against their bodies, their children's lives, women who fight against sexual slavery, women who abort, who choose, women who act for clean water, clear skies, for education for all, women who lead to end wars that promulgate prophecies destruction, women who cross borders, women, she, they, we, women of the world unite. We are waves, rivers, mountains, we who cover the earth, fighting to be free. I don't know if it's a matter of aging or something, but I used to not really like action movies. And I won't see a film by Schwarzenegger and those guys. I just don't. But what I have learned to do, not learned to do, I'm a TV freak and a movie aficionada, and I've been watching a lot of Kung Fu films and interested really in, wish I could do martial arts, and even in my old age. So I have a good friend now who is coming over and giving me some lessons in Kung Fu, and especially in Wing Chun. So it's never too late to start. When I grow up, I want to be a martial artist for young Wong. When I grow up, I want to be a martial artist, joust with Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee, display my prowess of Wing Chun, elbows flying, quack, quack, pop, quack. Michelle Yeoh, am I doing it right? Want to dance with Ji Zhong and whirl a cyclone of stars. Oh, young Wong's watching, smiling at this octogenarian, her white hair, flying the Jingwei bird, filling the sea with twigs and stones, joining Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, and Pigsy, especially Pigsy, in search of scriptures, and Stephen Chow, Chow Yun-Fat, and Donnie Yen. Where are you among the Sifu, deliberating Tai Chi and Qi Gong and rapid kicks and all that Gordon Liu, and I bow to Ingmui of Shaolin Temple, arts of martial dexterity, ancient rights of power of self-defense, Ip Man and Cheng Pei Pei, no purveyor of sorcery, but muscles and veins, breath, tens of thousands of cranes flying across sunlit skies. Yuan Woping to the rescue, directing, choreographing the wires of warriors, dancing across treetops, female chefs of the Song dynasty, gathering herbs, chopping and slicing while crouching tigers breathe and watch, while warriors of Li Shangbo, outlaws of the marsh, Hu San Lang, wielding two swords on horseback, this Miss Hu, Amazon of ancient world, Eugene in male dress, martyr for revolution against patriarchy, for feminist power, the bamboo flutes and sweet osmanthus, alive, still tethered to earth and sea, my arms take wing. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Nellie. So, everyone, be careful out there. Nellie has become a martial artist. The top. Just pay attention. So, no, that was very lovely. We're going to have like 7-8 minute break, and before the open session, which will basically be Jerry will preside over that. He and I will read a couple of short things. Kim is going to honor us with a reading of a few poems of Nellie and something of your own, if however you like. Yeah, you can play that by ear. And then, you know, the people who are on the list. If you haven't signed up and would like to read, let Jerry know. He'll put you down on the list. All right. Thank you so much.
One other little point, we're able to give a little honorarium to the featured poets. It ain't much, you know, but the neighborhood donates to the nonprofit a lot, and that's where we get that. But if you want to augment it with a few bucks, there's no harm in that. So throw what you like in that bucket, and that'll go to the poets. Thank you, Nellie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
She graduated.
It's not
easy on the eyes, really. I had to tell him.
It's creative nonfiction.
Heard anything about poetry under the dome?
Oh, he says it's
There
fiction,
was Jackie.
but it's really is a real
They used to do it.
I guess I must have picked up something. I thought I might have trouble with it, but it's not.
Still at this time of year?
At least yesterday.
Towards the end of April, but it's always, it's the last of your.
Bring it up with an Adam,
It's a little unfair to the people that you talk about.
the weird one too. So, are you, time-wise, you need to, is that,
And the
should we
band.
have you go first?
First is probably better.
Okay.
I
My night.
should probably get home.
Quickly, can you marshal it?
Doug's not around to drive me today, so.
Oh, yeah.
Expect people to show up. And Joseph said,
Well, there are still
he was so mad
vouchers.
at me. He said, you should read it.
Alright, so it's,
And
all right, so we're going to do the second part of the evening's program. I guess Kim will start with a couple of poems in memory of the recently deceased Nellie Tchaikovsky. And then I and Jerry will read a couple of things, and it will start the general open reading list. So Kim Shuck.
All right, Kim.
Okay, good on the, coming up to
I'm good. I'm
yours.
fine.
Okay, great.
The only thing that makes it look like I'm a little unsteady getting up is because it's cold today.
It sure is.
There it is.
Chilly.
Okay. So, the last time Nellie and I read together, he asked if we could trade books. And we weren't really close, but I'm really enjoying this one, so if you haven't read it yet, we ended it well. The Wind Ode. Wait for madness. Gentle, slow, while newborn embers fly, step from the warm fire to blisters of night cold wind. Air as Catholic as you might want it to be, strewn with cut glass. Take a moment, up the neck of a cliff. Pine tears, torn bark, angels living on a bed under hillsides folded like Japanese paper. Wind wisps, banners in a samurai film. Hello to dark walls of space we pace when sleep. Rapid clouds taste wind on a butte, rattler and doe tallied in doldrums of prophetic mind. Go for it. Go for the dust and fine pine needles smacked by wind-driven spire, needle in time dressed for bout. Talkative birds widening their grip on space, distant cone of air embracing brown gods, wind and sound, salt and silence. By the throat, cotton held, wind rushing out of Lake Arrowhead and the smaller lake. Colorado wind, Great Basin sound, river wind, electric grid, edge of town, rude wind in the bar where shadow men drink scotch on a blur evening. Wind, rushing from stool to stool. Clark, large and angry, goes to take a leak in the dark toilet. Wind rolls out of me and is lost. Let the plants bloom over spreading wind. Bam! Spirit, leave us alone. We have no idea of glory, no idea of mortal selves. Spring opens ripples of light. Wind dallies a moment, then goes driving to the scars of hysteria. We who are born to be careful, not careless, with simple words from clouds suspended on air. Honestly, you can almost just open this anywhere and start reading. It's really a good book. Idea of love. You may not like the cedar trees because your idea of love never quite clicked, even when it slapped you in the face. Love his smile when sleeping, laughter on his lips, winter in his mind. Well, nobody I know would like to be me. Why would they want that when an albatross flies near the cliff? Hang gliders spar with seagulls. Sentences travel in space. I never listened to those I loved. I don't want to be like me. The looks, the rage, memories of exposure, bad times in ordinary places. Suspicion, paranoia, umbrella in the hallway, boots purring on the floor, knowing I could barely see, losing passwords, thumbing through the card catalog, finding love set in books, love of country, love of self, walking with cedar trees, knowing life hangs by a thread. Nerves, trees, listening to bumblebees carrying lanterns to the garden, continue to count the years of destiny. Nobody loved, nobody understood. Why I praise the inward seas. Okay, I'm going to read this one and then I didn't realize I was supposed to read one of mine, so I'll read one of mine and then I'll sit my ass down. Tell me life is not real. Tell me the sea does not teem with plankton and swallows don't crowd the sky. Tell me it is an illusion. Talk to me of redwood trees and the rose garden. Tell me how love passes Bridal Veil Falls and Old Faithful Geyser in the Grand Canyon. Even though it's an illusion, tell me how you awaken next to the person you love and press your hand in theirs. Tell me that you love your dog and working in the garden. Tell me of the venerable cafes in Paris where the waiters look like Picasso or Albert Camus. Oh man, it's all an illusion. Tell me about war and peace. Explain the glories of a sunset beyond Land's End. Read Hamlet's soliloquy aloud one more time. To die, to sleep. Come taste the rose of a grim crucifixion. Leave Nero to fiddle, make of the Holocaust a basket of fruit. Deliver us from evil. None of this is real. It's a shadow play, taxes and tax shelters, monarch butterflies sickened by noise, dropping dead. Tell me we are coming and going in a cardboard dream to be discarded. Tell me anything real and worthwhile, then listen for the choir. The only reality in our spiritual and ephemeral wild. There is at least one of these here. Okay, this is my latest. I believe there are a few of these here too. Hunting in the downtown. You know how the deer on Market Street are with their stoplight eyes, picking their way down the old runoff paths past the disappearing, relocated indigenous women. The ravens are here to sing us visible, drumming on their collection of upended pots and industrial buckets. Don't you tell me how we've changed. We were right there near the department store, near the burial site, singing to the ancestors. This isn't an abstract gesture. It's not a schoolroom exercise. There are predators here. And all the maps of safe passage change every day, and the wind comes up in the afternoon. Don't you tell me how we've changed. The roots of this hill have learned what to call us just about. Our clothes collected for the festival, our family members taken to who knows. You might just sit down and listen for a change. I'm not part of your curriculum. We're a whole other thing. Light reflecting off miles of glass. How many feet deep was it? Can you hear the water like shattered windows? Piled just like them, just there where the tall buildings lean like stealing. Nellie will be missed, which is one of those observations I probably didn't need to make, but I really thank Eric for asking me to come read a few of his pieces, because you're probably the only person who would. Thanks. Take care.
Sure, just go ahead. All right, I'll do a couple of little things to get the open session underway. This is entitled Jazz Sessions, and of course we all have the unfortunate memory of a certain Attorney General named Mr. Jeffrey Beauregard Sessions, not too many years ago. So it was inspired quote unquote by Mr. Sessions. Jazz Sessions. I dreamed the Attorney General was named Jazz Sessions and could sing, shimmy, and swing like a river of clemency. I dreamed the Education Secretary finger-painted sparrows in a sandbox as she channeled the wisdom of Lumumba, Lorca, Tecumseh, and Li Po. I dreamed the Labor Secretary knew slavery begins at home in the dark pocket of profit, and that the Secretary of the Treasury knew real gold is an intangible essence beyond the reach of fools. Oh. Yeah. Oh, Jeffrey, how we miss him. Oh, God. Oh, my God. I'll conclude with this. It's entitled, When the Seedlings Talked. I choose to ignore the weeds whispering intermittently. I am going mad, but not mad enough. The grave gives birth to song after song, and brandy kicks off my backseat breakfast. It's Christmas Day 1977 all over again. My buy now, pay later Kingston cousin drives us to Montego Bay as if his dreads were on fire. A kamikaze Grand Prix racer running the leisurely love eyes off the road. He would be dead in months, going down in the Caribbean in a small plane stuffed with ganja, knowing only that the sun would be a red giant 200 times its present size in 30 billion years. Thank you.
Yeah, I have the list. Everybody signed up that wants to read. Okay, I'm going to read a couple of poems. My most recent poems. Yeah, and tell you what I was, at the risk of three-peating myself. So, let's see. This first one is about the lady has a corner store up from where I live. The grocery lady. In her classy t-shirt, different every day, to provide a little entertainment or food for thought, governing the day. Whatever you think you might need, she's got it in store already, knowing the habits and tastes of the neighborhood. Like in the old San Francisco when I grew up in the 50s and 60s, which was all about its different neighborhoods where everyone knew everyone and didn't lock their doors. This was before the dot-com invasion and the arrival of the nouveau riche. The corner grocery store was the mainstay and social center, aside from coffee and donut shops, where all the locals gathered to exchange news, gossip, and chit-chat. There was one guy on our block who used to send his dogs to the store for liquor and cigarettes, with a bag in its mouth with the money. There was that kind of trust. So maybe there's a certain brand or product that's been on your mind or maybe just need some wise advice for living right, your secrets are safe with her. And who knows, maybe she'll even fix a protection for you. But come rain or come shine, though the weather in our fair city may turn on a dime, she is always open for business. And I have this poem about Ho-Tai. Let's see. Oh, shit. You must have seen this guy around Chinatown and so on and so forth. All right. Okay. So. And Ho-Tai, he's kind of the Chinese Santa Claus, you know. So it's called Ho-Tai, the Jolly Buddha. Enlightenment, true laughter, comes from within, from deep within the Buddha's belly, from detachment, free from entanglement in things, 'cause life is all too funny. And you notice he's so fat, he's got tits too, full of kindness and benevolence, bearing gifts for every child of wisdom. And a bit about his long earlobes is that the Buddha was royalty, Prince Siddhartha of Nepal. His family wore heavy gold earrings. Removing them was a sign of his humility, renouncing his social status with all its privileges, and standing alone on his own 2 feet, without fear, true to his nature, light-hearted and pure, wearing only a sleeveless shirt and a simple skirt tied at the waist, as he was ever cheerful and chaste, knowing to laugh at life itself is also compassion for all humanity, grinning from ear to ear with sheer delight, both hands raised high, holding up the sky for everyone. So rub my tummy for good luck and prosperity, and never lose your sense of humor, that faculty divine, heaven's way of protecting us against the stress of life, which can surely kill us. But laughter is a celebration and affirmation of life, the song of the chuckling brook. The question we must ask ourselves in all sincerity, is life really some kind of joke? Though it remains a mystery, even if we don't know why, laughter just comes bursting forth out of nowhere. Okay. And now we get to the lisp. And first on the list is Alice Rogo.
Thank you, Robert and Nellie, for reading. This was written for Neely. It's to poet Neely Tchaikovsky, who just died recently, as we've heard. Not every beat poet has gone. There's always one left in a North Beach cafe. Maybe not 100% beat, because they are something else besides beat, like they have lived to have unknown lives. So just a little beat, but still on the beat. But if you are put on a shelf, labeled like a book, you can land in the LG, all the other letters section. And would you appear in a thick anthology under Jewish American poets? What kind of a name is Neely? Nelson. I didn't know that. You hardly knew me, yet when I passed you in a swirling crowd after a reading, you always said hello, hello, hello echoes inside me. And this one is to Jack Hirschman. Did you say Jack Hirschman isn't in the trias today? I'm looking towards one of the corner chairs where he could be speaking with two others, or is he outside on a cafe table? The coffee line is long as usual, and the photo gallery on the wall has added family members. Yolanda isn't here either. I have a few things I'd like to say to Jack and a book to deliver. When I stopped by his table, he said, "Why don't you put your political poems together?" So I did. I still have a small drawing and a poem like he used to give away. Oh, he hasn't done that recently. If he's not here, then he's in one of the libraries, perhaps in one of the far-flung ones, like Merced or South Beach, that took a 40-minute bus ride to find, with Phyllis, my poet friend, who kept winning Poet 11 contests. Some of the finest poets Jack found like undersea pearls by a master diver. If he's not at the Trieste, he could be at Fort Mason, surrounded by rows of used books and the bay at night, and a poetry reading on one of those October nights when even poets talk about baseball. Or he could be walking back to Aggie's, and there he is in a corner of Specs. That looks like him, talking Juna Barnes, Guilin, baseball, and revolution. And this is called Lonely. Is she lonely, she who sits alone at the counter, sipping tea, reading her book, 1 hour disappearing like into a train tunnel? Time and time she returns to the stool in the corner. She might smile or have a face almost tearful. If she were a cat, she would be a lost kitten found on a street under a car on a rainy night. One little mew saying, "I am here." One day she's gone, then here again, then finally gone, moved away to another city, or unexpected sickness, empty spaces at the counter. Then, was she ever there? How does loneliness linger when the lonely are gone?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Kate Russell?
Hi. I'm visiting again from Canada. It's my second time reading at Beckett, so it's nice to be back. Since we're kind of commemorating San Francisco poets, I have a little thing that I wrote last year after visiting. 26 Julio. When Roger speaks of revolution over lunch at Mario's, his eyes gleam. We remind each other there are still people who see with both eyes. Two sides of any scenario, even on 26 Julio. When revolutionaries stormed the barracks, beginning a takeover to last decades. Cuban liberation, remembered by Rosemary Mano as the insurrection, not El Sol's birthday. He speaks of Brown's Hermes, the thief, artist Kurt Seligman's History of Magic, wants to know what a sigil is as he's reading my book. Alone after lunch, I mount the stairs to the poetry room. City lights beckoned me here, finally to feast upon lifeline of the beats, surviving here where Ferlinghetti planted it upon shelves, where tourists peruse, know not where to look, a book. I sit in the fragile poet's chair, rocking slightly as I read inaugural speech of late laureate Jack Hirschman, deep in history, activism, and revolution. Here again, Rosemary is found. She translated revolutionary words. I begin to understand from my colonial upbringing the contrast of communism, seen as a people's movement, to political socialism, flagging back home, in true north, strong, but not always so free, holds no light here in San Francisco, where multitudes cling to streets, find harbor of humanity against the collective will of corporate society, pulling the rug out from under their hungry feet, wandering, not seeking a hand out, but a hand up heavenward, from somewhere uphill from here, where mist rolls over the city, the privilege does not trickle down as a flow to the foundered, but does surge upward from homeless poets with opinions on kings and their cheese. Even presidential tears are stricken like a clown mocking those who might see the fallacy by following the money. I wondered what it meant for Americans to glorify the fallen comrades of past conflicts, but now see their reflections echoed in the lost who came here seeking succor in the sun, where open minds may allow brains to fall out, to be picked at by crows. Those blackbirds see no difference between the high and the lowly, only taste the carrion of humanity's downfall. This city where strangers say hello to travelers, strike up the most lovely conversations with poets, their art insurgent urging a new world into being here, beating on the wings of those dark fallen angels.
And then David Hutchinson.
Thanks, everybody. This poem is called Ashes to As, and As refers to a Greek character, AE, which I have many theories around, and as do others. It's also about the flood and flood myths, and how I think largely they refer to fertility. You know, agronomic societies essentially are reliant on those, and that's how we all came to be. And as well, water breaking and cycles of various couple of sorts. And I haven't looked at this in a while, and I'm not even sure I can finish it. It's long, so I'll just stop if you know. But yeah, and looking at the notes, I'm not even sure it's done, or who could do it justice, or if it's even possible. But this is what I wrote. Versions of Leonidas wrought to origins of atonement's ash, and turns about of long fast Midas clash, with mercantiles and visionaries slot for Phaedra's Io whites, and singing gadflies hovered over bar all nil. Eastern suzerains adopted helpmeets and vessels wielding only fibulae to gift the scarves of Dolben and Gordian, and the labial spectrums realized over tumulus walls of Phrygian's demise.
as then overturned in fulcans of the keratin formations under duress from Sisyphos on down the passages to accelerants and ore. Demons of Leonidas forelocks and shields in golden sands of Pactolus flows to Silenus. Here is hidden from the sight with fabrics wounded over faint inscriptions, theories heard and said aloud in trinite cups of mythos light, sapphire stones and blue tassels on tablets of the Brit. Decisions of the scythes and hourglasses that call from hallowed horns to souls beside the gallops overwrit. Covenants of the daw and right to dynastic stipulations promise lines excease to follow that close fragrance touched by agonic commons of the diverse, mistook for plasma modes of falciparum commons, communes, plets, and wheel. The publicans pro to Wedgepton, Neath, and Eput, spirited and swathed, floating reeds as transom forth the first of Sargon's chairs and choirs in the forks and eddies tide, as interlocutors of the body's waters, be they Bogazi, Zaire, or Yazoo, rides on Mians. Pastaza basins of equivalences springs, synesthesias of remembrance forwards, in shifting derivations of arrivals as estranged by concurring alchemies of tragicon. Obsidian delivered on vela ruse, and afterclaps, the metallurgy shifting chains on exilic roads beyond Nevasur, Nigdes overlaps, spent centum, battling satum, mercies, plowing andesite. Below ceramic anatoles sung to glottalic bowels, in logical laws of sounding echoed, chambered, be they the prisons of marches, legendaries expired, or downward shafts that rid the nights of Dangriku, mornings left to depicted Axos carnage, seconds of Cappadocian repeaters, from Melendi's brooks, slaking thirsts of Brahma, on the banks of sprawling Asikli Hoyak, over to the dwelling Denisovans at Zhangzhang and the Zoguo lands abounding on Jiangjiang, cold fronts from above, Evenk Loanesi climbs that suggest worn leaves of death, in warmth from that which doth provide us. Exegesis of nomadic swirls and trouses, and by on mares to riders both, the pastoral plains of action speech that forms the fibrous lapses on looms of antiquated thread to Otzi and return as conflictions of Sarshayama, Yamna to breach the bindings for synapses, as heard in Nag Hammadi to the Copts, or before ascending dosh of Noinam.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. And Sanjay Aurora? Okay.
Is this the original or?
Pardon? Pardon? What do you want to read?
Does it have to be original or?
No, just don't
Anything.
go on forever.
Yeah, I won't. Hi everyone, this is cool. I'm from Washington D.C. and just found this place a couple hours ago. I acted competitively in high school, and I did this poem. I happen to have found it coming in here, which I'm excited about, but I also haven't done it in about 25 years. So this is Puerto Rican Obituary by Pedro Pietri. I'm going to do my best to remember this as it was produced. They worked. They were always on time. They were never late. They never spoke back. When they were insulted, they worked. They never took days off that were not on their calendar. They never went on strike without permission. They worked 10 days a week and were only paid for 5. They worked. They worked. They worked. And then they died. They died broke. They died owing. They died never knowing what the front entrance of the First National City Bank looked like. Juan, Miguel, Milagros, Olga, Manuel all died yesterday, today. And will die again tomorrow, passing their bill collectors on to the next of kin. All died waiting for the Garden of Eden to open up again under our new management. All died dreaming about America, waking them up in the middle of the night, screaming, "Mira, mira, your name is on the winning lottery ticket." For $100,000, all died hating the grocery stores that sold them the make-believe steak and bulletproof rice and beans. All died waiting, dreaming, and hating. Dead Puerto Ricans who never knew they were Puerto Ricans, who never took a coffee break from the 10 Commandments to kill the landlords of the cracked skulls and communicate with their Latino souls. Juan, Miguel, Milagros, Olga, Manuel. From the nervous breakdown streets where the mice live like millionaires and the people do not live at all, and the dead were never alive. Juan died waiting for his number to hit. Miguel died waiting for the welfare check. Milagros died waiting for her 10 children to go up and work so she could quit working. Olga died waiting for a $5 raise. Manuel died waiting for his supervisor to drop dead so he could get a promotion. Juan, Miguel, Milagros, Olga, Manuel. All died yesterday, today, and will die again tomorrow. These dreams, these empty dreams from the make-believe bedrooms their parents left them, are the after effects of television programs about the ideal white American family with black maids and Latino janitors who are well trained to make everyone and their bill collectors laugh at them and the people they represent. Juan died dreaming about a new car. Miguel died dreaming about new anti-poverty programs. Milagros died dreaming about a trip to Puerto Rico. Olga died dreaming about real jewelry. Manuel died dreaming about the Irish sweepstakes. They all died like a hero sandwich in a garment district at 12 o'clock in the morning. Social security numbers to ashes. Union dues to dust. They were born dead, and they died dead. Skipping. Here lies Juan. Here lies Miguel. Here lies Milagros. Here lies Olga, who died yesterday, today, and will die again tomorrow, always broke, always owing, never knowing that they are beautiful people, never knowing the geography of their complexion. Puerto Rico is a beautiful place. Puerto Ricanos are a beautiful race. If only they had turned off the television and tuned into their own imaginations, if only they had turned the definition of the sun after the first mental snowstorm, if only they had kept their eyes open at the funeral of their fellow employees. Juan, Miguel, Milagros, Olga, Manuel, right now they would be doing their own thing, where beautiful people sing and dance and work together. Aquí se habla español all the time. Aquí you salute your flag first. Aquí there are no dial soap commercials. Aquí everybody smells good. Aquí TV dinners do not have a future. Aquí the men and women admire, desire. Aquí we never get tired of each other. Aquí que se pecas, pasa power is what's happening. Aquí to be called means to be called love.
Thank you. Okay, and Jeff Hillis.
Who was the phone?
It's a hard act to follow.
I know.
Jeff, with that coat, you could follow anybody.
I don't think it's entirely a coincidence that April is both National Poetry Month and National Jazz Month. So let's hear it for all the poets out there. And for Michael and Jerry, our hosts, and for Eric, our proprietor, is that a good word? All together making this happen. And it isn't probably either by coincidence that I think both Nellie and Robert made reference to jazz and or music, and that I saw Michael last night out at the Four-Star Theater in the Richmond district at a marvelous event which combined poetry from our just past poet laureate Tango Eisen Martin and a lady, what was her name, Rev?
I don't recall.
Yeah, wonderful, another wonderful poet. And then a marvelous documentary called Fire Music about the progressive end of jazz, avant-garde, free jazz, all of that kind of stuff. So I have a little bit of poetry here that is going to treat jazz. It's going to touch on jazz. The first one is called Blues Walk. And a lot of what I write is written in places where music is happening. So, I blew into the bright of a shout chorus and was so glad for you, man. Where are you now that I feel you? And what is the sound of one hand squeezing your one hand? Here on the shore of Lake Leith, where we catch up with all we didn't say about all we ought to hear. This is easy living. Blown past the outro, love lives in a song, seeding towards someone else, some other place, sometime later, maybe just another song. We don't know what love is. Hey, that's the wrong song. We know how to do some things, write something, and sometimes there's something about love about it. Thank you. Okay. This is I'll Remember April. On February mornings, I take my showers with her, soaping up her 28 curves of sun. I whisper in the water words of 30-something Aprils, a passion sweeter in a present, beckoned from the past, teased through time, toweled and fluffed as pillow talk. And if I cry, it's just because her suds got in my dreams. Here's a particular tribute to Ornette Coleman, one of the jazz people I love, and I've heard homages to Ornette, sounding out in Eric's music programs here again and again, and so may it be forever. This is a particular tribute to Ornette's All My Life, one of the only things he wrote that actually had lyrics to it. I'm here again to hear my fresh first force of sound, made out from mother, out from womb to warm up, out where I'd be heard. And here is what I do with life, what I do with breath, lilted by the loving in my larynx, launching towards your listen. I've waited all my life for you, and now you're here. Hearing, sharing what is wanted, what remembered, what is hoped for, what words reach towards an embrace. You never knew me, though I knew you long ago. Your name has been my life always, and now I'm yours. Your otherness, your meanness meeting mine, from longing to belonging, a harmony of having each other mothers all, of whom we widen, lullabying all the living, birthing us towards timelessness. My heart and I agreed to wait for you, I'm glad. Show me how you hold me while you sing yourself. Sound me something that I've never heard, something that I can make mine, something more than mine. Time never will exist for me and you again. Thank you all for listening.
Scooter Fay? Fine. Okay, Scooter Fine.
All right, let's start with a baseball poem, because somebody mentioned baseball earlier. A baseball poem. The Buddha, sitting in the bleachers as evening falls in a forgotten city, knowing everything counts, every pitch, every at-bat, as much as standing and waiting in the outfield. Mindful of the count, the lights, and the moon. The secret geometry of the night sky in baseball, the satchel page of mysteries. Between innings, the Buddha is recognized by the hot dog vendor. The vendor says, I know, make me one with everything. The Buddha frowns. The vendor tries again. Change comes from within. The Buddha shrugs. The vendor smiles. Baseball is life. The Buddha nods. Better. From before. The forgotten power of an object to store memories, something lost and something found, something before time got in the way. When the rain was welcomed by the trees, the mountains bowed to the sun, the power of memories of mountains, of something lost, the night sky, a summer night, driving across the plains, the endless miles with the radio as companion. Before time's silence, none of us can live there. From before, what will turn the wheel of the mountain of memory outside the rain, the year new, the silence of time, revealed before we got in the way of time, something found. All right, so I've done a series of poems about drums, of the drums. So here's another one. Guided by some other source of information, hand on skin, the drum part of our earthly world, the force more animal than holy, an invocation to bone, to hands and feet and heart, the language of movement, of distant light, feels like distant light. Kick your feet up, take with us the light's distance, the movement the movement of stars and man guided by drums, song, universal rhythm, harmonic clouds, midnight meditations, and the promise of the morning. The drum's insistence, waiting for dance, brighter later. Stay on the side of belief. Maybe the trick is to just hold on and drum. Thank you. And a little short one. Winter's sunlight, a different geometry. Sun still warm, moving through sky bright. Winter's meaning at fingertips. Winter's meaning to gather. Oh, sorry. Let me start over. I'm sorry. Winter's sunlight, a different geometry. Sun still warm, moving through night sky. Winter's meaning at fingertips. The crows quiet this afternoon. A reminder of winter's meaning to gather oneself. I'm sorry, I'm gonna stop. I can't read this because I can't read my own writing. Thank you.
Okay, Walker Brent.
You know, all the people, you I want to mention Mark Kokkinos. Perhaps you knew Mark Kokkinos. A voice like Velvet Thunder, very solidly built. He had rings on every finger. And he read here a time or two. I knew him in the mid-90s, actually. We were both studying these religious texts, you know, down there in Persita Park. And, you know, so, but I wanted to mention him also. But anyway, here's a poem. This shouldn't take more than 3 minutes to read, I don't think. It is called, As It So Happened. I was born by the stockyards, the aroma of cows. There were endless rows of Christmas tree lights on loops of wires outdoors. Dungeons appeared in my footsteps. Golden and black songbirds taught me how to step over them without falling in. The asphalt on the ground outside was crooked at different levels. I learned how to set my eyes on the horizon and walk like I was swimming. The real world was where the tree line was. I learned what it meant to believe this. Outside the War Department I stood, waiting to understand what strings you had to pull to open or close the door. Then people began to come out. One fellow wore a bear coat. When I asked him about it, he said, "My coat is wearing me." Another fellow wore a Davy Crockett hat. "It crouches up here," he said, pointing to his head. Then he lifted it up, and I saw what was really crouching up there. It was a frozen tarantula. "This is my substitute for worrying about having to smile at people." I nodded my head in acknowledgement. And then there was someone who wore a skin-tight jumpsuit of gray mylar. He carried a spear which seemed to vibrate according to its own frequency. "The spirit of a horse lives in this spear," he said. When he opened his eyes wide, his eyebrows seemed to fly up into the air above his head like birds from bushes. Then we were on our way up a cliff. There was a flat place on the way to the top. There was a labyrinth of rocks tracing an intricate path on the ground. Ravens in the air seemed to fly above it according to the pattern on the ground. I wanted to walk the labyrinth. The one in the bear coat said, "I will make a time-space in which you can do this." Then he drew strings out from his abdomen and made a lyre frame from the bones of his hand. The bones seemed larger, floating into the air outside the flesh of his hands as it emerged from his bear coat sleeve. In the time space the song made, I walked the labyrinth. The raven's wings seemed to whisper according to the rhythm of my breathing. The song became quiet as I stepped out of the labyrinth. Then we walked on. The trail was steep. At the top of the cliff there was a crystal cabinet. We all put our shoulders to it and gave repeated heave-hoes. It tipped over the edge and landed with a crashing splash onto the rocky seashore below. The splash lines made lines of an unknown script in the reflection of the sun on the turmoil of the water surface. Eventually, we went fishing. We caught many fish sometimes, and fewer fish other times. The sound of the sea seemed to make one vast time-space in which we could all fish together. We built an entirely new crystal cabinet out of the bones of the fish we caught. I found my way back to the stockyards. There was a bear rug on the ground where the cows used to be. When I lifted up one side of it, I saw that it covered a hole in the ground where all the cows now were. I heard them say, the cows, they liked it down there, and they were reverting back to their wild ways, that soon they would be just like the cows in cave paintings. I wished them good luck, but not out loud. The golden and black songbirds sang a song that turned into my memory of all that had transpired. So that's as it so happened. Or, and then to all the community, you know, here and not here, visible and invisible. All right.
And Michael watched her?
Yeah. This is called Dear Fred Hirsch. Dear Fred Hirsch, I had no idea who you were when I bought that ticket to your trio at the Village Vanguard on my last night in New York City after 6 weeks of brain radiation every morning at Presbyterian Hospital on the East River, where I rode my bike at sunrise through parks bursting with birdsong, from weeping purple beach, arriving sweaty, and ready to be killed a little by the giant praying mantis photon machine's precision beams, strapped helpless to the table. Or, perhaps, be pecked by the monster black-throated blue warbler, hungry to pick my head like a bald cherry blossom bud, hiding a worm. I was the guy sitting right behind you, that first table, so close I could have rubbed your back, as you wandered into the sweet gum treble clef groves and soft moccasin finger steps, where I was that same morning in the New York Botanical Gardens. I biked over the Harlem River to Randall's Island, across Bronx Kill Stream, through Little Italy to the old-growth forest. The docent said must be 40% dead to live. And if you clear away detritus, you kill it, which made me wonder if I needed my dead parts, not yet knowing how many times you have risen. I had no idea you were in a 2-month ICU coma collecting detritus so fast it choked your new growth, and the doctor told your husband, Scott, bad things happen fast, and good things happen slowly. And it was fast like the Bronx River roaring through the forest in winter. Your hands went into hibernation like dried sticks that crack and fall off the trees. So Scott massaged them through that season of uncertain darkness, hoping for buds in spring, locked inside your private delirium, not your first ICU rodeo, riding AIDS by miracles no doctors could explain, although you knew it was the jazz inside you, pulsing and beating every time your heart was on the ropes. And in this coma, you dreamed you were locked in a cage with Thelonious Monk. Do you know I sat so close to you I could see each fingernail on the left hand you took off the keys and parked in your pocket like it didn't matter, as your right hand played solo melody, the bassist's walking fingers plucking rhythm, the drummer's brushes splashing cymbals, until at some point your left hand came back with chords full and fat,
and you all three swung a groove so hypnotic even the seasoned servers stood still. After that night, I watched the recording of your first gig just after your coma, when you still had a feeding tube because your vocal cord was paralyzed by the ventilator and swallowing food could kill you, which is why you whispered, "Now I'll play a new one for Wayne Shorter called Still Here." Although I know all of this now, when I sat so close to you that night at the village vanguard, I could be a wild creature in the old-growth forest of my body, where you led me without thoughts to the grubs growing and the loamy green shoots sprouting to the light from the fecund detritus of my own glorious decay. Still here, me.
Thank you all.
Worked quite well that way. That was good. Nellie, Robert, thank you too. Appreciate it a lot. Come back any old time.
Thank you.
If it's not too far for you now, drop in. Yeah. All right, thank you all.
Okay, you guys get some money, don't go.
Okay.
Michael, so glad you read.
It's April.